Have you ever wanted to fire a block of metal or a block of forbidden chewing gum out of a tube? I will be talking about a very interesting and important feature of tanks: the shells. So, the propellant. If you want to know an equivalent to shell propellant, just eat a Taco Bell and wait. Then you will find out. The specific type of propellant used in a tank was vastly dependent on the caliber, desired speed of the projectile, the range of the projectile, and the flash of the combustion. Another factor was the shell itself. Was it a high explosive shell or perhaps a solid shot penetrator? Let's take the British cordite propellant for an example. The propellant was named cordite because it looks like cords, which it basically was, like combustible cords. So cordite is a smokeless propellant which lies in the same category as gunpowder, being a low explosive, which are compounds in which the rate of combustion is less than the speed of sound, unlike high explosives where the combustion undergoes a supersonic speed. Enough said about the type of the combustible used. Now let's get to the important part, and I'ma keep it short. Burn stuff, make a lot of gas and pressure, which sends the shell flying in the direction which you have predetermined. I hope all of you paid attention during math class, with all of the algebra and stuff, especially parabolas. Curve. So, since shooting something and throwing something is basically the same thing, just that shooting something is faster. As a tank shell usually isn't rocket propelled, rocket powered, the flight path is an inverted curve. So, basically, minus x squared. Just a really flat one. A really flat curve. In order that the flight trajectory doesn't get interrupted by anything such as wind, there is an actual spin applied to the shell, so the nose remains pointing prograde, and the round doesn't tumble. A similar thing can be done with fins, to keep the round pointing prograde. But in order to use fins, you need to have a smoothbore barrel, meaning no cool ridgy lines inside of the barrel, because a spinning motion of the round with fins would be counterintuitive. Let's take a look at the kinetic penetrators first. So, in short, you have a very fast flying object hitting another object. As the shell is usually pointy and made of a typically heavy metal, such as uranium or tungsten, the energy it carries will be great, as the formula for impact force, or just force, is force equals mass times acceleration. The impact force of a modern armor-piercing fin-stabilized guarding sabot round weighing about 19.8 kilograms would be around 31,618 Newton meters, or 31,680 kilograms per square meter. And it's focused on a very tiny spot. So you can imagine that energy scales accordingly if you shrink the impact area down to like 1 centimeter squared. It grows by 100 times. Taking kinetic energy penetrators from World War II, there were also some variety in which the shells were modified, or there were different kinds of kinetic penetrators, such as kinetic penetrators with explosive filler inside of them, which admittedly gave them a worse penetration, but a lot more post-penetration damage, because the round would explode inside of the tank after penetrating the armor. Now off to the HE shells and the HESH shells. HE shells are pretty useless against heavy armored vehicles, as they explode directly on impact. But they do exceptionally well against lighter vehicles, such as civilian vehicles. HESH rounds, on the other hand, have a squishable head, thus the name, high explosive squash head. The HESH round flattens on impact and then explodes, sending a shockwave through the tank's armor, tearing it up from the inside, leaving destruction inside the tank and only a scorch mark on the outside. Tanks that used this type of ammo were tanks like the Challenger 2 or some older British tanks, but not only the British used them. The last significant round would be the heat round. The heat round is basically an HE round, but it has a shaped charge and a metal liner inside of it. When the round detonates, it melts the usually copper liner and shoots it forward into the enemy tank, or the civilian. Now, since the copper line it shot was very thin, it would be very bad to have the round spin, because then there would be an outward force acting on the copper which increases the impact area and thus lessens the penetrative capability. This kind of ammunition was great at penetrating, but its post-penetration damage sucks, as there is very little fragmentation of the armor. Thanks all of you for listening to me yap about tank shells for like, I don't know how long, pretty long I guess. I really hope you liked this video, and please consider checking out my other videos as well. It would be very appreciated if you also leave a like and subscribe. Anyway, I really hope you liked this video. Consider checking out Mr. Table Size or Table Size Productions himself out. And yeah, I wish you have a wonderful day. Don't get hit by a tank shell.